The Department of Emergency Management in Honolulu just held a meeting on the status of this tropical storm. And we go live now to KITV4's Pamela Young. She's there with the latest. Before getting to her, however, we do want to remind folks, and here's Pam. Pam.
Hey, Pamela. Okay, we just finished our 3 o'clock meeting, just going around the room, briefing ourselves on the current situation, both on the Big Island, Maui, and then, of course, the city and county of Honolulu. And the good news is it looks like this storm continues the weekend, but we here on the Big Island, we have gusts up to 40 miles an hour and a lot of local heavy rain. And so we're not taking this any less serious than we did this morning. The good news is because of the allowing of our city and county non-emergency workers going home, and because I think the federal and the state government making a similar decision by department, we see traffic. We've been informed by the Joint Traffic Management Center that traffic is the usual places where there's blockage, but not an overly any kind of traffic problem, which is a good thing. We're hearing that there's a lot of order. Division of Facility Maintenance over the weekend had started to clear culverts and then streams on this side of the island up until mid-morning here on the south shore. They're now over on the north shore. At 5 o'clock, they'll be clearing the stream over at Laie, where there's a lot of flooding when we have heavy rains, and then over at Waimea Valley, clearing the stream there to make sure water flows smoothly. So we're out working to make sure that we don't have flooding wherever possible. In addition, shelters have opened. We received a report that one person took advantage of the shelter in Kilauea, and 4 of the shelters do have Red Cross personnel on hand. Of course, every shelter has Parks and Rec people there, and Red Cross will continue to move into those shelters, the 10 we announced earlier. We'll see how many people take advantage of it. Then we have a homeless situation over at the Waianae Boat Harbor. As you know, many homeless have moved there. We're going to be providing a bus free of charge, just one, from that homeless shelter to the Waianae District Park. We'll allow people to bring at least one pet, hopefully in a cage or crate of some sort, if not on leash, and we'll take them to that shelter to make sure that they're safe. This is the only area where we're going to be having an evacuation bus. Otherwise, buses continue on a regular schedule. We want to make sure people have a way to get home and get around the island. But the request remains the same. Starting around 6 o'clock, we really would like people to be off the road, in their homes, taking care of their loved ones and their neighbors. We expect the eye of the storm to pass over this island. The entire island will be impacted about 10 o'clock tonight. We anticipated 9. Looks like the storm is slowing down a bit. Maybe it's because it's weakening. The bad part of that is if it moves slower, that means more rain can fall on this island, causing flooding. So we'll continue to monitor, and we'll be back at 5 o'clock again with a further update. We'll check in and then, of course, report back to all of you.
City services suspended this afternoon because of the diminishing of Flossie. When do you see a resumption?
Well, I think if we're going to evaluate later this evening, but we're going to be back in full service tomorrow morning. Should there be any damage anywhere on this island, we'll assess it in a localized way. We don't anticipate it to be island-wide. If there's some local flooding or wind damage, we'll address it. But right now, we're hoping that we'll be able to announce that everyone comes back to work. All city services are back up and running tomorrow morning, from DMV to everything else.
Yeah, what's your biggest concern as you know, it's going to start bearing down on us here on Oahu over the next few hours?
Biggest concern is that people don't lighten up now because they hear that the storm is weakening. That we need to take it seriously. It is still a tropical storm. That is something that doesn't happen every day. We don't have one that goes right over the eye, going right over this island. Just kind of like along Waikiki and downtown Honolulu, but the whole island is impacted. So we want to take it seriously. We want to make sure that people are safe. We don't want to have anything bad happen to anyone. And that requires cooperation and preparedness, which I think is going on as we speak.
Can we ask Mel a question?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Every crisis situation tests our level of preparedness. What have we learned so far from Flossie as far as the coordination of emergency services?
Well, it still requires a lot of pre-coordination and commitment by our stakeholders. Obviously, resources is very intensive. Like the shelters, we require a bunch of people as well as transportation to get individuals. So there's a lot of resources that we have to get commitments for and dedicate to support the various tasks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And so you heard from the mayor and Malcolm. It appears that some major decisions will be made after the 5 o'clock meeting, and present will be representatives of all the counties and the emergency services. So for now, it's waiting to see what the next weather advisory will tell us as far as Tropical Storm Flossie. At the Emergency Center, Pamela Young, KITV4.
Pam, thank you. And of course, as you heard the mayor say there, he'd like to have everyone on Oahu off the roads by 6 o'clock, so urging everyone to get home and stay safe tonight. Evacuation shelters are open right now on the Big Island. Locations include Pahoa Community Center, Auntie Sally's Luau Hale, Lapahoihoi Charter School, Honaka'a Sports Complex, Waimea Community Center, Hisa Oka Gym in North Kohala, Mountain View School, Pahala Community Center, and the West Hawaii Civic Center. We have photos from the Mountain View shelter as well. Residents should bring their disaster supply kits with them. That should include blankets, any supplies or medication they may need. And this is a live look right now at Kauai High Coast on the Big Island. The Coast Guard has reopened ports of Kauai High and Hilo as of 1 o'clock this afternoon. However, the ports of Kahului on Maui remain closed at this time. The U.S. Coast Guard is urging local mariners to review their heavy weather plans and to stay informed via VHF Channel 16. Evacuate if necessary, secure boats and boating equipment, and be cautious of hazardous materials in the water. Of course, stay clear of the beaches. Evacuation shelters on Maui are open. They include War Memorial Gymnasium, Lahaina Civil Center, Kamali'i Elementary School. These are 3 pet-friendly places. Hana High School, Molokai High School, and Kilohana Community Center. Here on Oahu, 10 evacuation shelters have just opened up. You heard the mayor say there one person has already joined one of those. They are the district parks in Waianae, Wahiaʻewa, Mahiko, Kailua, Kilauea, Koko Head, Waimanalo, and the Waialua Church of Christ, BYU Hawaii, and Kalakaua District Park on McNeil Street. The mayor says you may bring pets as long as they're in a crate or on a leash. Check KITV.com for a full list of evacuation centers. And the Honolulu Department of Environmental Services has closed all refuse base yards, convenience centers, transfer stations, and landfill operations as of 3 o'clock this afternoon. H-Power will remain open until 6:30 tonight. Residents should not set out their garbage cans until after 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Stay with KITV4 for continuing coverage of Flossie on air, online, and on your smartphone. We'll bring you latest live reports every hour from the Big Island, Maui, and Oahu, and we'll also bring you the latest, of course, on KITV4 News at 5, 6, and 10. Don't forget to download KITV4's Hurricane app. It tracks the storm and gives you the latest information. Best of all, it is free. Thanks so much for watching this KITV4 News special report. I'm Yanji Denise, and we now rejoin our regular programming in progress.